houses. We can do what we want. Right now in other countries other than white, Western,
90% of the people I get on the train on thank me for my job. Occasionally.
Have you ever been outside this country? Have you? Never. You haven't even fought in Vietnam? You haven't even fought outside this country? No, my father.
Credit to our country.
The only time they step outside is to kill people from another country, right?
Some rain for Auckland, mainly fine for Suva and Noumea.
Credit to our country.
In Southeast Asia, another onslaught of heavy thundery showers for Hong Kong and Kuala Lumpur.
Credit to our country.
Further north, very hot and dry for Delhi and the subcontinent, staying wet though in Tokyo and the Korean Peninsula.
Credit to our country.
It's raining.
A well-defined social class. But that's broken down, so people take their signals for what is normal from the television.
To our country.
Now there's a sort of amorphous mass of culture which is determined, dictated and evolved through popular media.
Credit to our country.
In recent times we've seen the emergence of what's sometimes described as the democratisation of luxury.
Credit to our country.
Hi, here we are at the Interface Festival 2003. We're talking about media, education and democracy. With me here we've got Marcus and Meg. And we're going to be talking about democracy and is it rooted?
It's one of those things where we have a system and we call it democracy, but in reality it tends to boil down to people just choosing the least worst option every few years.
Now the realities, as opposed to the perceptions, are we don't enjoy democracy. We don't. In this country, if you look at it on any scale.
And what interests me is this idea that democracy is actually about the right and the ability of all people to actually influence the systems that influence their life. It's become very difficult, I think, for people to actually do that through the system that we've got now. It really does boil down to a fairly simple choice between often a couple of alternatives that people don't really like very much.
Each country they have they elect their leader to rule them. Okay.
Basically, we've got 2 or 3 different major aspects in society, whether it's the court system and the parliament and the police force, and all of these things are meant to be separate from each other. They're not meant to be controlled by the same people. They're not meant to have their interests intermingled. And it's one way of ensuring that our society, having those checks and balances and having this bit to check against what that bit is doing, is one of the ways in which we keep our society on the straight and narrow.
The camera. 2 cameras.
Are you believer or not? If you don't
Believer in life and truth and justice.
no, believer in who created you.
Well, if the system is seen to be dynamic, then it will reflect contemporary relevance and people will want to be involved in it more.
Yeah.
If it doesn't reflect itself as being dynamic, if it belongs to our parents' generation, if it belongs to our great-grandparents and that's when it was made and it never shall change, then there doesn't need to be an engagement with it. People go, wow, maybe I can get involved. The role of the nation, the first and foremost role of the nation in a cynical sense is the reproduction of the nation. And so it's about maintaining the status quo in a safe way. Well, I mean, we're in a deeply conservative turn now, so there's a lot of room for improvement.
Thanks for your time and enjoy the rest of the festival.
Okay, thanks.
Great.
Hey, g'day guys, it's Daniel here again at the Interface Festival 2003, Day 2. I'm just walking around talking to a few people about what they think about the festival and what they're here for. So come along with us and we're going to find out.
I like it.
Yeah? What do you think?
I work at the Central Coast Campus Union, a publications officer, and I want these students.
Okay.
Because they help out with the student pay bump, and this is an opportunity for them. The union's paid for their accommodation and their rego. Bit of a reward, something they may not get the opportunity to do on our campus.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Shuttle 31.
Chilling out, getting the vibe of the festival, face to face and interface.
Interfaceness with interfaceness television.
We welcome today the Hot Rod performance. Maybe we do another take.
You can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't feel much your man. You wanna be tough and do what you can. So eat it, but you wanna be bad.
I'm talking to an oscillation.
We've got to network, we've got to get set up websites, we've got to communicate, and we've got to use the media and
Here today we are with Deborah Kelly. My name is Doa Karan. I'm from Screaming Theatre, but this is Interface TV, and this is our interview with Deborah Kelly. Is it possible to, sort of think about art separate from politics?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it is at all possible to think of art outside of politics. But there is, a giant multi-million-dollar art world out there that produces goods for capitalism, really. And that is the main thing that you see if you go to a gallery or if you think about art. So this work is largely outside of traditional cultural institutions, and it produces and manifests people's resistance to the way that the world currently is. Art and politics, about whether art can fruitfully and truly escape from institutional parameters, and whether it can actually participate in the building of political discourse, and specifically with us, dissent, was a kind of political art that hopes to participate in the building of public discourse, to think about how the kind of rhetoric that is shoved down all our throats, specifically right now about war and xenophobia and the ongoing extraordinary mistreatment of asylum seekers and refugees in Australia, how artists can and do manifest their responsibility as cultural producers and participants in a society. And I went straight home and I made a little sign that says, "Escaped refugees, welcome here," as a PDF. And I started sending it around by email, and Ghassan sent it as well. We sent it to everyone we'd ever met, and within 3 days it was up in Perth, and Tradesville Council in Melbourne lined their Lygon Street windows with giant blow-ups of it. So people used it to manifest their profound disrespect for the detention regime, and also to put their hands up and say, "I am willing to break the law because the law stinks." I made that
Jesus refugee card and projection last year with the boat people, primarily to remind the Christian government that Jesus was, the historical figure of Jesus was a refugee from Herod, the murderous tyrant, for the last federal election. She was talking about how everybody not Indigenous in Australia is a boat person.
Yeah.
And it was so astonishing. You know, such a brilliant little crystal thought that if you're not Indigenous, fundamentally, we're all boat people. And with the assistance of some Liberal and National Party politicians to suggest that actually all Muslim women should be prevented from wearing their veils because they might be hiding bombs. Yes, that I made a little image of the veiled woman from a beautiful old holy card that I actually had. And friends of mine went around and snuck this into magazines in newsagents because it's designed to look quite a lot like a recipe card. Okay, yeah. And with it, you can cut these things out. It says veiled woman, and underneath it says 50 concealed incendiary devices. And so with it, you can make this little matchbox, the veiled woman matchbox, who really is concealing incendiary devices under her veil. I think, you know, to use the language of one's oppressors and turn it against them, I think that can be really powerful, you know, very potent, and it means a lot. It already has gathered cultural knowledge. Dissent, dissent, dissent.
Hello everybody, we're here with the Interface television crew and we're gonna go upstairs in room B104 or 108. I think someone occupied the studio there, which is actually supposed to be the television studio, but the zine terrorists have occupied it. So we're gonna have a look and terrorize them a little bit. Come on. La 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 la.
I don't know. It just appealed to me because being like I was going to art school at the time and things, and there were just some amazing things that you could get for such a low price, and you could have a piece of it yourself, and that was very, very appealing to me. So that's pretty much how I got into it.
So zines are a good way of getting your voice out there through your own publication.
Absolutely. It's actually, I consider it almost better than, you know, regular media outputs and stuff because it's uncensored, it's raw, you get the high gloss of a magazine, which is where it's kind of got its name from. Yeah, personal experiences, influences, things like that. Anything that you kind of want to express and get out there because, you know, people are always willing to listen and hear your stories. Basically a big kind of storytelling in a paper form. That's always the better thing. But yeah, it's really, really cheap to do and really fun to make, basically.
For those interested people out there now that I know are becoming more interested as you talk more.
Yes, well, people that want to know more about zines or anything, just feel free to contact me at honeybeezine, HONYBEEZINE @earthling.net.
Heaps for your time, Cat the Zine, Queen, Scene Sponge, the Zine, whatever. Thank you heaps for your time, guy. I really appreciate you talking to us today.
No worries.
Now that you've heard about zines, go out and do it. Sounds like a lot of fun and getting your word out there. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you next time.
I'm the artistic director of a youth arts organisation based in Melbourne called Express Media. Been working there for about 3 years. We publish this magazine, VoiceWorks, which publishes the poetry, prose and visual art by writers and artists under 25. And we're up here at Interface, so I'm running a zine workshop today, like a kind of introduction to how to make a zine session. We're launching VoiceWorks tonight, and tomorrow one of our tutors, the novelist Linda Javen, is also going to be running a session on writing social change. So
brought that to the attention of the American public through this novel, which shocked people so much that they demanded of their Parliament, of the congressmen and senators to change the laws about food processing.
Some of the stuff I hadn't thought about before, so we looked at the kind of resources that you need to find and identify when you're organising something, and that's a really important part of organising an event that I don't know much about, so that was really useful. And I really liked the way that it was a really collaborative kind of workshop, so there were people there who'd organised all different kinds of things, and so you could actually share that experience.
And so the most important thing to come up with is why do you want to hold this event? And if you're coming from some kind of community-based or youth-based organisation, how is this going to achieve the objectives of the organisation, what we're aiming to do? Whether that's provide a service to a particular demographic or achieve some kind of political aim or, express yourselves in a particular way. What will often happen is you'll come up with a really good idea for an event and you'll start trying to talk to the people who you want to be involved or the stakeholders who might be involved. And suddenly you'll be faced with all these questions that you basically can't answer because you haven't really thought that far ahead. Like, who is your audience? Who is this event for? Who is this event aimed at? Really thinking about your resources right at the beginning. What resources do you have? People resources are particularly important. They're going, well, shit. I can't actually do this. Well, shit. Well, shit. Well, shit.
I guess it was in terms of how to organise a film event, which is something I've never done before, but it still gave a good idea of how to plan ahead for an event, for an event, for an event, for an event.
But anyway, so you guys ready to get physical? Yes. Like hip-hop is the true sense of the culture. Hip-hop is a culture. It has elements of a culture, a language, dance, music, and an art form. Okay, which is what cultures are all made up of. It's just a very, it's a very new culture, and that's where breakdancers came. Dance in the break. But anyway, so you guys ready to get physical? Yes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 7, yeah, right, 10. Looks like I'm doing aerobics. The way I practiced when I was a kid, just watching TV, Every time an ad come on, practice turtles. Watching Family Ties. Okay? Then I do the other side. And they get pretty strong, okay? Okay? So again,
let's explore the space by just allowing ourselves to move through the space. Not seeing anything that draws your attention, noticing your breath, and just slowly walking in the space, and we'll synchronize that with our breath, breathing in and out. And then we'll take a really deep breath and we'll open up to the sky. So we go. Just opening up to the sky, let the arms come down.
Are you a believer or not? If you don't
believer in life and truth and justice.
No. Believer in who created you.
Ask him some question. Ask him some question. Ask him some question. What is a socially responsible corporation?
Well, I mean, I think the reason that it's actually a topic is because corporations have so much power in our society these days, and it's a question about how do we actually change society in a way that's more productive but constrain the power of those corporations.
I think it is possible to be a socially responsible corporation.
There are some who are sort of more enthusiastic about the role of ethical investment, of voluntary measures such as corporate social reporting, companies developing environmental and human rights policies.
But only when your business happens to fit it.
And I think we've got to actually sell social and ethical sort of behaviour on its own merits, not because it's good for business.
But equally, perhaps the most important role is for citizens to be more involved and active in building stronger community advocacy organisations, of ensuring that community issues are reflected in the media, because one of the two key drivers for corporate behaviour is where their poor practices are being documented and exposed in the media, and where there's the risk that there will be legislation that forces them to accept higher standards than they would otherwise want to do. I mean, I guess, corporations are very sensitive to public debate, public discussion, and so the more there is of that that's actually in open public spaces, festivals like this, here it's an important sort of cross-section of people who are thinking about issues, will take it away and explore it further. Drive corporate change. How is it that we actually redistribute power in our society in terms of shaping public policy away from corporations and towards a more active and involved democracy?
It's going to be a Channel 31.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Mark Bolton from Free Academy, and we're joined now by Leroy Black, who's a general attendee of the Interface Festival and also dabbles in film and other media.
Well, first of all, goddamn, I love the website. The website is slick, the website is sexy, it really works, and it's what got me here. Then I looked at the program, and the program had a couple of interesting things for me personally. One's education in Australia and community education, and the other one is documentary filmmaking. All those ideas we wanted to represent musically. So we put down that audio music track first, look at that carefully, and then we make the images fit the audio.
Give them a round of applause.
And muckraking is very different to investigative journalism. Muckraking is scandalously, uninformed. It's, incredibly defamatory because it's quite often not even true. And, it's not investigative journalism.
We don't do satire. We do comedy.
Satire often works with abstracting a point and sort of putting it in the field of metaphor, or with cartoons. You set up a situation and you don't just literally, you can write an editorial about why Howard is fucked, and it'll just say why Howard is fucked. You can do a cartoon about it and set up a completely, you can dress him up, or you can have him sucking George Bush's cock.
Self out there as a street rat.
It's an interesting question. Very interesting question. Well, comedy really is the answer.
You can't do anti-corporate stuff. You can do stuff about corporate greed, general things, bank greed or something, but you can't attack a certain corporation.
Just mean, you're a fuckwit. You're a fuckwit because, your government actually rules on behalf of a very, very small group of people.
Learned some important lessons. One of them for me is still keep thinking about the Norman Gunston School of Journalism. It's one way to get in the door without them realising you're in there.
I'm ready when you're ready.
Here at the Amazing Maze, built by Madeline Boyd, Ryan Leach, Selena McEwen and Simon Peart.
How do you feel today?
I feel like a Spanish waiter.
Mr. Photographer? Eat make shitter, shit make eater. And let's see what's in the next area.
You are a most welcome guest. A revolutionary bum in your own right. We offer you up the opportunity to make a revolution in your own right. Go wild, throw it everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's all wild and crazy.
You play around, you just throw it in the air, you just, you know, like you feel free to... This show is government sponsored.
With your girlfriend. The yuppie fucker. That's the phone call. Okay.
Just say something here for the listeners.
Everybody should be at the Interface Festival, being there, to be there, to see what's
With your uniform, it's a semiotic abuse.
Okay.
It's not abusing.
See you later. That's not a nice face.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Have a happy day. Have a happy day.